getting a chance to chat with somebody on the phone that I actually went to high school with. Knew him a little bit. We had mutual friends for a little time after that. But Doug Heveron, they called him the young one. He actually was one of the better drivers up at Oswego Speedway for a long time, but he did a lot more than that. 31 Cup starts over a 6-year period, 65 starts in Busch over a 5-year period, 9 years, 171 starts in NASCAR Modifieds, 3 wins there. He also won the Classic in 81 and 82, or excuse me, 81 and 82. Same years he won the Oswego Speedway Championship. 8th on the all-time list of wins at 33. Let's head on down to Jensen Beach, Florida. Last time he raced, Doug Heveron with us now was back in 2008. Ironic thing, he started in a microd with the number 22 on the side. He ended in a non-wing sprint with 22 on the side. Doug Heveron joining us here on Tuesday afternoon. Man, how you been?
Pretty good, Doug. Hanging in there.
Good.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for making time for me. So this interview here, what we're going to do is we're going to get you up to date on what he's doing now, kind of review a little of the end of his career, and since I do have a 10-minute limit on the interview, we'll see if we can get to some of his early stuff. First of all, I understand you even got sick just last week. You've had some tough things with illnesses past couple of years, haven't you?
Yeah, in November last year, I ended up getting pneumonia and finally got over that here just not too long ago completely. And then last week, I guess it was my turn to catch COVID, so I had that for a while. And it's been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, because I remember your girlfriend, wife, was doing some updates. It sounded like you came about as close as you wanted to come to not being here anymore.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I knew I was pretty close, but then there were some points that I don't remember. They said, yeah, it was close, closer than I ever wanted to be again, I'll tell you that.
Did you bounce back pretty well from that?
Yeah, it took 5 or 6 months for me to get back to normal.
Really?
I mean, it just lingered and lingered, and it just, doing what the doctors say and everything, and then all of a sudden, a few weeks ago, actually it might have been 8 months. A few weeks ago, I was telling Sherry, I said, I feel the best I've felt in a long time. So, and then I go and get COVID.
You jinxed it. That was it. The health gods looked out and you said, oh, yeah, Doug, we got something for you. So,
yeah, we'll take care of you, bud.
How'd you end up in Florida?
Well, back in 97 or 98, it was too hard. I couldn't get a sponsor anymore to run a Busch car. I needed like $1.5 million that I could bring to a team to continue racing. And I was getting kind of burnt out because it just wasn't working out. I mean, getting the money and everything. So when I couldn't get it, and my mom was ill, so they lived down here in Jensen Beach. So we just moved down to Jensen Beach.
Okay.
And that's where I ended up, and I bought a lawn business and been doing that ever since.
Okay. Is that when you started racing? They were winged sprints on asphalt, if I remember right.
Yeah. It was 2000, I think, and Norm Huntley called me. He was the guy who gave me my first sprint car ride in the Little 500 back in, I forget what year it was, 1989 or something. And he heard I was down here, and he called me and asked me if I wanted to run some sprint car races, wing sprint car races on asphalt. And I said, heck yeah. So he didn't have a lot of money, and we drove and kind of farted around with him. And actually it was pretty cool that my mom got to see her last race that she went to. She got to see me win.
Oh, that's
so that was pretty cool. And then Norm kind of ran out of money, and but there was another guy, Don Heckman, who I wanted to drive for all the time. I mean, that car was wicked fast. Wayne Ruderman drove for him. One of the Butler's old man, he drove for me. Just a lot of really, really good drivers and a really fast car. And then I got lined up with him, and I got racing with him for the last few years of my career, and we just won a lot of races.
Yeah, you did. If I remember, because I was following you on Facebook at the time, it sounded like you guys did very well with that.
Oh, we did. I mean, that car it was just unbelievable. It was just kind of like mine. The old days. They did their homework at home, doing the work on the car all week long, paid off on the weekends, and that was just what I liked and what I was growing up, when we were winning. So it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Those cars are wicked fast.
Yeah, I could imagine a wing sprint on asphalt,
no
wheel spin.
Goodness.
Come on, right?
Yeah.
Dangerous?
Dangerous? Heck yeah. I hit the wall once where I didn't know where I was for like 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that the first time, or did you have several injuries like that over your career? Because
Well,
let's be
actually,
honest, the cars weren't as safe when you were racing.
I had a couple of bad ones in the sprint cars, but all throughout my career, I've had it wasn't all safety. I never even hit a soft wall. You know what I mean? So, and actually, the way that one where I said where I was out of it for like 3 days, Earnhardt had just died, and my father told me, because you got to get one of them Hans devices, and I said okay. So I looked up the price. It was like $1,300. I said I ain't buying no Hans device for $1,300. And I told my old man, I said no, I ain't getting one of them. He goes, well, yeah, you are. He goes, I'm going to buy it because I'm not going to raise your kids. And and then, believe it or not, somebody tried to make it 3 wide, and I was on the outside coming off of turn 4, and we all hit, and I took a right and hit the wall head on. Never did find the hood, but I had a brand new helmet on with the Hans device, and my brother was sitting in the stands. He said, your head never moved, because if it would have then, because that's how hard I hit, who knows if I would have even still been here.
So it's good to have
So it's a good thing I
move,
had that Hans device on, yeah.
So you raced with it forever after that?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Then I couldn't. It took me about 3 races to get used to it. And then after that, if I didn't put it on, I couldn't get in a race car without it.
Okay.
It's like I can't ride my motorcycle without gloves. I don't know why. I just can't.
Okay.
It's just one of those things.
Okay, interesting stuff. I like this. So now let's go to your last race. It was the Little 500 in 2008. You told me originally when you were asked about doing that, you didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, when Norm called me back in the 80s, he asked if when the last time I drove a sprint car was, and I said, I don't know, it's been a couple of years, but I'd never driven one, period.
Oh, not at all. Okay.
And he asked me if I wanted to drive the Little 500, and I said, sure, and I had to find out what the Little 500 was. And then I went out there and sat in the sprint car. I said, how do I get in tonight? I get in, out there, okay. And as a rookie, because it's just like the Indianapolis 500, that's why they call it the Little 500, you get 4 laps of qualifying. You can wave it off 2 times, I think. And then you get 4 laps, and then we start 3 abreast, 11 rows for 500 laps on a quarter mile. Well, I went out there and set a new 4-lap track record.
Gee.
As a rookie.
That must have raised some eyebrows.
There was somewhere, there's some mad people.
I bet there were. Who is this Heveron guy, and how is he setting fast time in a track in a car he's never been in?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Why
and
do you
then we were leading 376 laps in, and I think we had like a 7-lap lead.
Really?
But we still had to come in and get our pit, get our last pit. So we would have lost them 7 laps. You know what I mean? That's about what you lose.
Okay.
There's somewhere in that area.
Yeah, they're not meant for pit stops. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the oil pump broke.
Oh.
So I've been there like 4 or 5 times. I've been on the pole 4 times, 8th once, and I never finished it. Never got to finish it.
Okay. We only got about a minute and a half left, by the way.
All right.
Last time you went, things like this was 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were doing good, and then something that never happens happened.
Yeah, we were running second. I let Tony Elliott take the lead. He said because he wanted to go from 3rd to 1st, so we wouldn't have a big wreck. And I was just following him.
Mm-hmm.
And then going down into turn 1, the oil filter fell off.
How does that happen?
I spun my own oil. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. And the owner put it on too. So. That was kind of the only
at least you
in
didn't
all
do
of our
it,
lives.
right?
Yeah.
They would have been, Doug, you're not touching the car again. So.
But it was nice. At least they knew we were there. We sat on the pole. We didn't go out. We didn't go out with a win, but we got a half a win out of it anyway. And the car was in one piece, and he got to sell it. And we both retired after that race.
Gotcha.
We made that pack.
Okay. Less than a minute now. Nice thing with that car, yes, it was a 22 like your first microd, but you said there was a kind of a ghost number next to it that was a throwback to your Oswego days.
Yeah, Don, because it was going to be our last race together, and for both of us, they put on the tailpiece, the painter, he put a ghost number 1 underneath 22. So if the sun hit it right, you'd be able to see the number 1 on there also, and then for me.
I like that. That's a good story.
Very cool.
We're going to do more stuff with Doug, but you know me, sometimes, guys, I try to put 10 pounds of interview in a 5-pound bag, so we're going to get with him in about a month or so, and we're going to probably work up chronologically. We'll go to his microd days and some other stuff in Oswego. So, Doug, I appreciate your time. I'm glad you're doing well, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, bud.
Again, thanks to all the sponsors, all the folks. Hit that subscription button, and we'll be back with Doug very soon.